Hello everyone, this is Assault Mode Yu-Gi-Oh! And we're here with a Tenyi deck profile.
Alright, so first you play 3 Vashuda, because it's one of your better ones. You summon it by controlling no effect monsters, and then you can banish from the graveyard to target a monster or a card your opponent controls, turn to hand. Next, Ashuna. Ashuna, you summon it from the hand, same way, and you can banish it from your graveyard if you control a non-effect monster to summon a Tenyi monster from your deck, and it locks in Tenyis. Then, we play Tenyi Shatana. Shatana, whenever a non-effect monster control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this, return it, and pop a card. So that's pretty nice. Next is 3 Adhara. Adhara is your tuner and it recycles your banished Tenyi monsters. Then 2 Tenyi Mapura. Whenever a non-effect monster you control is targeted, you can banish it to negate it. And then lastly, 2 Natana. Natana just reduces an opponent's monster's attack by 1500 if it battles a non-effect monster. And that's it for the Tenyis. The only other monster run in the deck is Mare because it is a worm, so it synergizes with the deck, and it's really easy to get on field because you have tons of ways to revive it. Next, onto the spells. You run 3 of the field spell. Flawless Perfection of the Tenyi. Draw 2, Protection. Pretty good. And then your Rhoda and Foolish Burial in 1. Vessel. So obviously these are both, really good cards to the Tenyi deck. Then you run 2 Desires just because you run a lot of 3-ofs and draw power is nice. And then 2 of this one. Its activation effect isn't very good. It's like tribute a worm to summon a Tenyi or something like that. It's mostly the grave effect you want to use it for, and it's good discard fodder for the link monster. And then lastly, 1 Terraforming to get to the field spell. Next, onto the trap cards because we run a lot of them. 3 of this. This is mostly just a good way to search for any worm monster. It's a bit slow, obviously. Also, the discarding effect is pretty relevant if you have a ton of Tenyi's monsters in hand. And then Triple Strike, just because you want some more negation, and their own counter trap. One of the weirdest counter traps in the game. It doesn't destroy when it negates, and if it itself is destroyed, you can revive or summon a non-effect monster from your extra deck. Kind of weird for a floating effect of a trap card. And then 2 Rivalry of Warlord. Just a good floodgate card. You could play more, but 2 is pretty good, because you never want to see more than 1 Rivalry. Next, onto the extra deck. For the link monsters, run 3 Monk. Monk is just a plague starter. You summon a Tenyi monster, you link it off into this, then you can activate the effect of a Tenyi monster from your hand, but summon it again and just go off. Then they're linked 2 Shaman. This is one of the best archetypic link monsters you can ask for. It revives, it pops stuff, it gives you 2 down pointing arrows in a deck that does a lot of link summoning. It revives any worm monster, which is why you can revive Mare from your graveyard. And then on to the last link monsters, you run 3 of the other ones. Or 1 of each of the other 3, excuse me. He's kind of your boss monster, but he doesn't really do much. It's mostly just everything else interacts with him nicely. And these are just good utility cards in the Tenyi deck. They do more in Tenyis than they do in other decks, obviously, so they're pretty nice. And then on to the rest of the extra deck. For your XYZs, you play 1 Tornado Dragon. It's a worm, so it synergizes with the deck. That's about it. You don't really do much XYZ in this deck. 1 Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon for the floating effect of the counter trap card of all things. And then lastly, just some good level 7 and 8s. The Yang Zines work really well in this deck because they synergize with worms. And these are just good generic rank 8 or level 8 synchros that do stuff. This is a Tenyi card, but he doesn't synergize with the deck much other than by name and by being a worm.
And that was the Tenyi deck profile.